Welcome back to AI for Your Work. This is Tutorial 6, Custom Tools and AP-Is. In Tutorial 5, our research agent had one tool and our analyst had none. Today, each agent gets its own toolkit. The researcher gets a currency converter. The analyst gets a portfolio calculator. And for the first time, our tools take paraninents. Let's go. In Tutorial 5, the research agent had one tool, the gold price fetcher. The analysis agent had no tools at all, and our tool took no arguments. Claude just called it. Today, we upgrade everything. The research agent gets two tools, gold price and a currency converter. The analysis agent gets its own tool, a portfolio calculator. And the new tools take parameters. Claude has to figure out what values to pass, not just whether to call the tool. This is where multi-agent systems start to feel like real applications. Here's how the toolkits break down. The research agent has two tools, the gold price fetcher, same as before, no parameters, and a new currency converter. This one takes an amount and a target currency code. It calls the Frankfurter API, which is free, no API key needed. The analysis agent gets its own tool, a portfolio calculator that takes ounces held and price per ounce and returns the total value plus gain and loss scenarios. The key point, each agent only sees its own tools. The research agent doesn't know the portfolio calculator exists. The analyst doesn't know about the currency converter. This is enforced by bind_tools. Until now, our tools took no arguments. Claude just called get_gold_price with nothing to decide. The new tools are different. Convert_currency takes an amount and a currency code. Calculate_portfolio takes ounces and price per ounce. Claude reads the parameter names, the type hints, and the Args section of the docstring and decides what values to pass. How much is $10,000 in euros? Arrow Claude calls convert_currency with amount equals 10,000 and to_currency equals EUR. The Args section is critical. Without it, Claude has to guess from parameter names alone. Clear descriptions mean better tool usage. Before we write code, let's test the new API. The Frankfurter API is completely free. No API key, no sign-up, no credit card. Just call it. Look at that! Exchange rates for euros, pounds, Australian dollars, and yen, all from the European Central Bank. That's all we need. Let's write the multi-tool agent system. The imports are the same as Tutorial 5. No new libraries needed. First, the research agent's tools. The gold price fetcher is identical to what we've been using. Nothing changes here. Now the new tool, convert_currency. Notice the parameters. Amount is a float. To_currency is a string. And look at the docstring. It has an Args section that describes each parameter. This is what Claude reads to decide what to pass. The amount in USD to convert. The target currency code, for example, EUR, GBP, AUD. Inside the function, we call the Frankfurter API with the target currency, get the exchange rate, and return the converted amount. No API key needed, just a simple GET request. Next, the analysis agents tool. Calculate_portfolio takes ounces and price per ounce. It returns the total value, the per gram price, and gain-loss scenarios at plus or minus 10%. This is a pure Python tool, no external API. Tools can be any computation, not just API calls. Now the LLM setup. This is where agent-specific toolkits happen. We create two separate tool lists, research tools and analysis tools. Each LLM gets bound to its own list. Research_LLM can see get_gold_price and convert_currency. Analysis_LLM can see calculate_portfolio. They're completely separate. The system prompts, same pattern as tutorial 5, but updated to mention each agent's specific tools. The researcher knows it has two tools. The analyst knows it has one tool. The nodes and routing are the same structure as tutorial 5, but there's one important change. We now have two tool nodes. Research_tool_node handles the research agent's tool calls. Analysis_tool_node handles the analyst's tool calls. Each agent's tools are executed by a separate tool node. If the research agent somehow tried to call calculate_portfolio, the research_tool_node would fail. It doesn't have that tool registered. The graph wiring adds the new analysis tool loop. After the analysis agent, we check, did it request a tool? If yes, go to analysis_tools, then loop back. If no, go to end. Same pattern as the research loop. And 4 test questions, each demonstrating a different capability. Here we go! Question 1. What is the current gold price? The research agent uses get_gold_price. This is familiar, same as tutorial 5. Question 2. How much is $10,000 in euros? Look, the research agent called convert_currency with amount 10,000 and to_currency EUR. That's Claude reading the parameter types and passing the right values. The first time our tools have taken arguments. Question 3. This is the interesting one. What's the gold price in British pounds? Watch. The research agent calls get_gold_price first, gets the USD price, then calls convert_currency with that price and GBP. Two tools called in sequence in one question. Claude figured out the multi-step workflow on its own. Fetch the price, then convert it. Question 4. I own 3 ounces of gold. What's my portfolio worth? Different agent. The analysis agent takes over and calls calculate_portfolio. It used the gold price from memory, from question 1, and calculated the total value plus the gain-loss scenarios. 2 agents, 3 tools, 4 questions, all in one graph. That's the power of agent-specific toolkits. Let's understand how the toolkit separation works. It's enforced at 2 levels. First, bind_tools. This controls what Claude sees. The research LLM only knows about gold price and currency conversion. The analysis LLM only knows about portfolio calculation. They can't request tools they don't know about. Second, ToolNode. Each agent has its own tool node that only has its own tools registered. Even if a tool call somehow got through, the wrong tool node wouldn't know how to execute it. 2 layers of separation. That's how you keep agent toolkits clean and secure. Let's look at what happened with question 3, gold price in British pounds. Claude called get_gold_price first, got the USD price. Then it realized the user asked for pounds, not dollars. So it called convert_currency with the gold price as the amount and GBP as the target. We didn't program this sequence. There's no code that says call tool A, then tool B. Claude figured it out from the question and the tool descriptions. The graph just provides the loop. After each tool call, go back to the agent. Let it decide if it needs another tool. Claude handles the strategy. Let's save and run it. There's also an interactive version on GitHub where you can ask your own questions and see the routing in real time. Link in the description. Here are the key concepts from today. Tools with parameters, multiple tools per agent, agent-specific toolkits, and multi-tool chaining. In Tutorial 7, we add security to these toolkits, input validation, rate limiting, and prompt injection defense. Because giving agents tools is powerful, but giving them tools without security controls is dangerous. Tutorial 7 is where the cybersecurity lens comes in. We've been building increasingly powerful agents, tools, memory, multi-agent collaboration, custom APIs, but we haven't asked the critical question: what could go wrong? In the next tutorial, we add security to the pipeline, input validation before tools execute, rate limiting to prevent runaway tool calls, output sanitization to prevent data leakage, and prompt injection awareness. If you're building with this series, subscribe so you don't miss Tutorial 7. It's where orchestration meets security. If this tutorial helped you build multi-tool agents, hit subscribe so you don't miss Tutorial 7. The code and the full written guide are linked in the description. I'll see you in the next one.